Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Ketcher, and today we'll be talking about the most debated topic in America: illegal immigration. Parents being separated from their children, children being detained in prison like facilities, and illegals being treated like abused animals. This is the story you will hear on our nightly news, but it does depend on what station that you're watching to what story you're going to be told. As you know, our government is literally divided, as well as the population, on opinions or beliefs on the correct way to handle illegal immigration. So let me begin by asking you, your stance on illegal immigration, is it based solely on emotion, factual information, or is it maybe a personal issue? For myself, I'm a father of a 16-year-old daughter that lives in Romania, and immigration has always been an important subject for me. My daughter is a Romanian citizen, and it can be quite a battle when she comes to visit. Let me explain. In order for her to come, I must petition the U.S. for her to be allowed, then I must wait for their approval. If I go over to Romania to visit, I must first have a passport that's valid for 3 months prior to my trip there. I'm only allowed to stay 90 days in any 180-day period, and if I wish to stay longer, I must then ask the embassy there for their approval. My point here is laws must be followed, no matter where we are, who we are, or where we're from. As a parent, I can never see myself handing my child over to a coyote, nor would I be able to tell my young daughter to take birth control because they may be raped on their journey to America. Border guards, in an interview with Fox News, they report that girls ages 8 to 12, have been found with birth control, as well as some have been sexually assaulted. Is this what a loving parent does for their child for a promise of a better life? There's been reports as well as human traffickers appearing as family units, crossing our borders, leading young women to a life of torture here in America in the sex slave industry. As well as drug cartels, they've been using children and adults to smuggle their narcotics into America for decades. So why isn't our news stations reporting this, instead of serving their own agenda to discredit our president? Instead, reports to grab American population by their emotion with sad stories of parents being separated in horrible conditions. The truth is, I'm aware that we are all immigrants, and our ancestors struggled to build this great country. And I'm proud to know that I live in a country that all nationalities have contributed to make America the land of the free. Excuse me. To be clear, I'm not against people traveling or coming to America as long as they're following the due process to legally immigrate or to visit legally. But we're not talking about law-abiding citizens here or law-abiding people. So my stance is quite clear. I follow the law. I accept being held accountable for the actions as a parent. If I put my child in danger or allow someone to harm my child, I will pay the consequences. I guess the best way that I could explain it would be through a gentleman that I found on YouTube. His name is Roy Beck. He explains immigration and world poverty explained with gumballs. That's right, gumballs. I highly recommend that you look him up. Again, that's Roy Beck. He explains from the World Data Bank, data from the World Bank, that in 2010, 3 billion people made less than $2 a day. And even though America continues to take 1 million people, there are 80 million more produced into poverty for every 1 million that we take. So, point being, if we took the $100 billion a year that we use here in America to fight illegal immigration and invest to help develop these poverty-stricken countries, to help them grow, to help them become self-sustaining, our country basically cannot solve this issue, and America cannot sustain the impact of opening borders for all looking for a better life without letting a percentage of criminal enterprise, like the MS-13 gang, that openly recruits undocumented immigrants. But let's step away from the whole political view for just a second. And let's think about it this way. Do you believe that America is overpopulated? Or better yet, do you think that we have enough resources to sustain? At 326 million, our current population, well, it was the beginning of 2018. And let me tell you, the answer is simply no. We do not have enough resources. And yes, we are overpopulated. This data comes from the Global Footprint Network data, and it shows that the U.S. can sustain a population of 150 million. That's at a reduced rate of consumption of our natural resources. So let's see. We're already using our resources twice as fast as they can reproduce, and we continue to grow 2 million a year. According to worldpopulation.org, it states that half of that is from new births and half is from immigration. So a growing population will definitely mean less land, less food. So at our rate of growth of population, we're likely to double over the next 100 years. This also means that more endangered species, more diminished resources. So what will life be like for our children in 100 years? Let me be quite clear. Something has to change, and it has to change now for our children and their children to have a future. So no matter what stance you take on immigration, or illegal immigration, I should say, you have to say that you want to protect the future for our own kids. Again, I'll finish by saying I am aware that we are all immigrants, and I'm proud of that. But someone who enters our country illegally right from the start isn't a great way to start a better life. Let's look for law-abiding people who want to come to America and contribute to our society. And let's let them go through the due process. And those people should be welcome here. The illegal people, because we cannot filter out the bad people, it shouldn't happen. Again, this is just my opinion, but when you look at the factual information provided by the Global Footprint Network, how can you deny that something has to change? With an open border, allowing illegals to come here, we're just destroying our country. I know many of you will say, well, people die and things will change and we can make room for more people. But the fact is, we're producing more people than people that are dying. So I ask you today just to keep an open mind and see what you can do to make a change in our country. Thank you. Have a great night.